Hey everyone, Creatively Cara here, and my channel is all about taking you along on my creative journey with me. Today I'm going to be sharing with you one weekly spread that I absolutely love, and I'm going to share with you the different ways I've used it in the past. Now essentially this is going to show you how you can take one setup and use it in so many different ways. And I think that's really cool about bullet journaling is it can be super minimal, you can add so much to it, you can be somewhere in the middle. And yeah, this is honestly just my go-to weekly spread. I probably use it almost every month at this point, and yeah, I love it. So let's get started. Okay, so here I have pretty much a lot of my previous bullet journals, and I'm going to flip through and show you some of the weekly spreads I've done that include that one setup. I've kind of tagged them all, so I'm gonna flip through them and talk about some. I first began creating these quarter box pages once I was using my Dingbats notebook, and I really liked them in this notebook because this is an A5 plus, so it's a little bit wider than a typical A5 journal. And I just felt like the weekly spread worked really well in this one. So I'm gonna share some of the ones I have in here. So this was essentially the first time I did it, and I really enjoyed this layout. This one was actually very simple. I just drew some lines to break up the boxes here and then added a little bit of color for the headers, and then you'll always kind of have this other box to then use for a quote or really whatever you want. But then you have one box per day of the week. So there was that one, and in February I also made this one. So then now you can see that I have created them into separate boxes and add a little drop shadow. So that's really fun there as well. Now I'm just gonna keep going. This one was in my March setup, and I had snowdrop flowers. Again, really simple here. I ended up actually leaving some of the lines open so that I could add in the flowers there. So that was just a little detail that I did there. And then this was another one I did for March. Now you'll see that I actually left that open box on this side of the page. Typically, I leave it in the top left corner, but sometimes I'll leave it down here. This is honestly probably the only time I left this spot blank. I don't really know why I decided to do that, but I did, and I just included a little quote there. And yeah. Again, very simple on this one. I really just mostly did a little bit of drawing down with my theme. So my theme was jewels or diamonds, and I just drew the diamond, or like the little jewels coming down, and you'll see I actually have very faint diamonds in the background of this. So I think that was really cool. And then just a little header to then indicate each of those. This one is quite interesting. I wanted to try a timed layout, so I think this is a really great way to show this one. You know, just set up your day so that you can break it down by time, and then I used that extra box to basically make a running to-do list. So while some of my to-dos were here, I could just leave a list over on this side in case I needed it. So that is this setup. This one is a little bit more different, but I wanted to still show it. Obviously you can see on this side it's definitely divided into those 4 boxes, but then on this side I combined the weekend, and I know some people like to do that, others maybe not so much. I go back and forth on it, but typically I like them to have their separate days. But then I had room on this side to kind of add some doodles in, as well as meal tracker and habit tracker, or water tracker really here. So, you know, this is another way you could really approach it if you wanted to. It's cheating it a little bit because I don't have that last corner box here, but I still think it counts. This one was super fun. I think squished the boxes down just a little bit so I could add a little header to the top here, but I love how these boxes turned out. And then again, I just left a little space down here for a doodle, so super easy there. This one leaves even more space for a header up top. So again, kind of cheating the system a little bit, but it's still quarter boxes on the pages to break up the days here, and then just a little bit to have fun with at the top. And this one was one of my favorites. I had so much fun with my June theme last year, where I did lemons and lemon lemonade. It was so much fun. Loved the washi tape here. Just solid line coming down and then washi tape to do the headers. And then I did a little art on this corner. So again, really like how that one turned out. And this is another example of those where I kind of left a lot of space at the top. I just did my designs. I didn't really do a header, but I really loved the way this one ended up turning out. Now this was my notebook that I used for the rest of 2019 and it started in September. This was a much smaller notebook, so it didn't have the A5 plus size. And you can see that the boxes are actually a little bit more thinner. So I think maybe I realized I didn't really care for that style in this one. So this is the only time I ended up using it in this notebook, which is kind of sad because I really loved that setup. But you can see how very detailed this one is. You know, boxes, little banner for the header. It's always fun to figure out where to place the number. I always switch that up when I do these. So that's the only one I have for this notebook. Again, not too many of them in this notebook, but I have a nice border on this one. I did a birch tree theme and I really loved how I did this border effect here. And then I still broke it off by the quarter so you could see where those were separated. So this one was a little bit of a different approach, I think. This next one is one of my favorites. I had a watercolor theme for February and very, very detailed here with the doodling. And then I even added some watercolor in that space to have a quote. So I really love how this one turned out. A lot of fun with that. As you can see, I did not fill out much in this weekly spread, but this was once quarantine basically hit for the pandemic, and yeah, it is what it is. But I love how this one was laid out. Again, very simple here. This was one of my favorites. There was a trend going on the social media sites where really for planners, maybe happy planners, and you basically did a blackout in your planner spread. So I did one dedicated to the Black Lives Matter, and I really enjoyed making this one and really happy with how this one turned out. This one, okay, I lied. This one might be one of my favorites. So we had Firefly theme this past June, and this just goes to show you how much fun you can have with these quarter boxes. I legit like made little mason jars for each day. I just love this one. So I actually, when I made this one, I started off doing the watercolor in the background first because, you know, if you try to do it over it, you're gonna end up smearing the black marker. So we started with that, and then I drew out the mason jars and then added the rest of the details to this. But yeah, super, super cute. Now, this is my current bullet journal, and I don't think I have too much in here with the fun weekly setup. I've only started using this in July, so we're not that far into it. But this is an example, and I don't think I've really done one quite like this yet, where basically I just covered the entire background with the theme, and I really love how it turned out. Everything kind of popped, and yeah, that was really fun. And then I think I have one more in here. Okay. This is honestly the current week, and I have my Volkswagen theme for August. If you have not seen my plan with me for that, I will link to it in the description box down below. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Again, I kind of covered the entire background. When I started doing this one, I just had the kind of header in mind, and then I dropped down the color. I started with the light teal, and then I added the yellow on the back side. And then I did my little Volkswagen, and I did the dots, and the dots kind of got a little crazy and out of hand, and I felt like my boxes weren't popping enough because of the light blue or the light teal and the light yellow. It just wasn't enough. So I ended up adding a dark teal in there as well, and that really helped the boxes pop. So that is my current weekly spread and where I'm at in this bullet journal. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video today. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Until next time, bye-bye.